Hatred or greed, paradise is the place we meet. I feel the beat of me.
Greetings and peace. This is Dr. Lawrence Brown with another episode of Interfaith Issues, where we discuss the issues of common interest to the monotheistic religions of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Today's episode is going to focus on atheism. I'm going to start with F.W. Norwood's quote, "Life's greatest tragedy is to lose God and not to miss Him." Atheists claim existence through science, through the Big Bang, through evolution, and because these explanations satisfy them. Now, I have addressed this before in my talk on the big questions, but I would like to address it again. In a nutshell, the problem is that by these explanations of the Big Bang and evolution, science contradicts science. Why? Because it's a general principle of science to believe in the concept of entropy, that everything degenerates into chaos unless it is controlled. Unless there is a higher power exerting control over a process, it degenerates into chaos. Now, it does not matter if you are talking about your child's bedroom, the kitchen sink, or a complex chemical reaction. If there is nothing controlling it, it will degenerate into chaos. If nobody picks up the child's bedroom, it will become a mess. If nobody cleans the dishes in the kitchen sink, they will just pile up. And if nobody controls a chemical reaction, it will do whatever it does, sometimes leading to disaster. If there is no control over a process, it degenerates into chaos. And so, over all processes which lead to an organized result, there is a greater power exerting control over it. We are told to believe that the Big Bang, the most cataclysmic event in history, in which all the matter and energy of the universe drew together into a hyperdense core and exploded outward into a universe that is 240 followed by 21 zeros, miles across. And this occurred by chance, and this explosion resulted not in chaos, but in perfection, with balanced orbits, with a billion galaxies, over a billion galaxies, none of them colliding with one another. That's a pretty tall tale. At the same time, we are told that evolution was a process by which, through exposure to the primordial elements, amino acids were derived, basic building blocks of proteins, which developed into a single-cell organism. A single-cell organism evolved over millions of years to the various organisms we now have, and that explains the diversity of life as we know it. Again, another process that without a higher control overseeing that process, we would expect to degenerate into chaos, not into perfection. And yet this is what atheists believe. The cataclysmic event of the Big Bang, the millions of years of uncontrolled random evolution led not to perfection. That is pretty unbelievable. It is for that reason that many scientists in recent years have disavowed the concept of evolution and have attached the label intelligent design, a conclusion that none of this could have happened without being overseen by a greater power. Now, there are other issues. For example, evolution or natural selection can explain the diversity of species. It can explain why horses a million years ago were this tall and now they are that tall. It can explain where the dinosaurs came from and where they went to. It can explain many things, but what it cannot explain is the existence of the soul. If you believe in a soul, where did that possibly have evolved? If you look at a living organism, all living organisms are viable, and that is life. They have life. Where did that come from? When an organism dies, when an animal dies, the organs are frequently still functioning. Brain death is not always instantaneous. Things are still functioning. Why is the body dead? Where did the life go to? And where did it come from? We as human beings can transplant almost every organ in the body. We can assemble a Frankenstein-like creature, but nobody can give it life. Not all the scientists in the world can assemble the wing of a gnat. We cannot assemble the smallest organism in creation and give it life. Where did that come from? So the theory of evolution can explain many things, but there are also some quintessential elements to life that it cannot explain. Having said that, there's the old and famous quote that there are no atheists in a foxhole, meaning that everybody at some point in their life enters a period of panic, a period where, for whatever reason, they are thrown into panic and desperation. And at those moments, you never find anybody calling upon anything except for their Creator. Oh God, help me.